raiding the address on the letter, they found a butcher selling human flesh. The letter read, "I can't do this anymore. This is the last one I'm sending you." Oh, I had intended to initially and murder you, but I couldn't because you were so nice. Don't ever pick up anyone ever again. She murdered her 2 children by giving them each a cup of poisoned milk before bed. Then she herself. The door to the cupboard underneath the stairs opened. A hand reached out and grabbed her. "It's her mom." The woman whispered to the child, "Don't go into the kitchen." I heard it too. I know y'all read that title. What y'all doing in here? Oh, so y'all saw the title and decided to click on the video. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so story number 1 was made by Tara Bad 13 years ago. Story number 1 started off as, after World War I, times in Moscow was hard. Everyone seemed to be starving. The food seems to be extremely rare. A young woman was in the crowd and sees an old blind man hobbling his way through. The woman guided them and they began talking. The old man asked for a favor from the woman, to deliver a letter. Since the address was next door, she agreed. As she walked away, she felt a sense of unease and turned around. The man was running away and the terrified woman ran to the police. After raiding the address on the letter, they found a butcher selling human flesh. The letter read, "I can't do this anymore. This is the last one I'm sending you." Crazy. So it was that hard in Moscow that people were eating people, cannibalism. So what that do for me is put it in perspective how hard World War I could have been. I don't think it was that hard that they was eating up, like could be eating like everybody's eating people, like full out cannibalists. But that does put it in perspective how some people could do that, you know? So just to think about that is kind of crazy. But on to story number 2. Story number 2, this is by JCPTOPI. It was also 13 years ago. A young girl was playing in her bathroom when she heard her mother call her from the kitchen, so she ran downstairs. As she was running through the hallway, the door to the cupboard underneath the stairs opened. A hand reached out and grabbed her. "It's her mom." The woman whispered to the child, "Don't go into the kitchen." I heard it too. But those are one of those like spiritual, like type of spooky type of things. Why does it keep changing every time I put this up to my face? But anyway, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It was too short to, like, I feel like that story was short, sweet, simple, and good. It's not that bad though, but like, I want more out of that story. That story is actually really good. So this one was 6 years ago. I was driving my car from a long trip. I'm a woman. I took the rural route that had long roads with nothing around it. It was October, so fairly cold. Around 11 p.m. I saw a figure far ahead standing on the side of the road. It was a hitchhiker. I usually would never slow down for one of them, but as I mentioned, this road had nothing as shelter for quite a long distance. I picked him up and he said he would be okay if I dropped him off at the upcoming town. We drove around and he was quiet. I started to think nothing of it. I started talking not because I was interested, but because it was awkward. It took a bit to get him to talk, but once we did, we found common interests. We actually hit it off fairly well. We ended up singing some tunes we both enjoyed. When we got to the town, we actually sat down at the diner to eat. I offered to pay for his meal, but he obliged. After this, I wrote my number down on a napkin and handed it to him before I drove off. A couple of days later, I finally got a call from Mr. Hitchhiker. He told me, "Hello there. I really enjoyed our time at the car and in the diner. I want to thank you." Oh, I had intended to initially and murder you, but I couldn't because you were so nice. Don't ever pick up anyone ever again. That story right there is really a mind bend for the simple fact of that's crazy work. Like you can't be nice to people, even though her being nice saved her. But some people don't care about you being nice and still would do something like that to you. That one right there, terrifying. Those are the ones that I'm terrified. These are the ones that get you at night, right? Be careful out there, women, including me. But yeah, that's sick. This one is a twisted story. So this story is called "There's No Reason to Be Afraid." It starts off as, when me and my sister Betsy were kids, our family lived for a while in a charming old farmhouse. We loved exploring its dusty corners and climbing the apple tree in the backyard. But our favorite part was the ghost. We called her Mother because she seemed so kind and nurturing. Some mornings, Betsy and I would wake up, and on each of our nightstands, we would find a cup that hadn't been there the night before. Mother had left them there, where we would get thirsty during the middle of the night. She just wanted to take care of us. Among the house's original furniture, there was an antique wooden chair, which we kept against the background of the living room. Whenever we were preoccupied watching TV or playing a game, Mother would inch the chair forward across the room towards us. Sometimes she managed to move it all the way to the corner of the room. We always felt sad for putting the chair back against the wall. Mother just wanted to be near us. Years later, long after we moved out, I found an old newspaper article about the farmhouse original occupant. She murdered her 2 children by giving them each a cup of poisoned milk before bed. Then she herself. The article includes a photo of the farmhouse living room with the mother's body hanging from the beams. Beneath her, knocked over, was the old wooden chair placed exactly in the corner of the room. That one right there, very, very interesting. First off, if it was ghosts there at all, guess who wouldn't be there? I wouldn't have been there. What do you mean it's ghosts? So where's your mother and dad? They didn't experience none of this? I have so many questions for that one. Alright, so this one says, I don't remember what story this is. A boy sleeping in his bedroom on an unusual night. He heard footsteps outside of his door. His door swung open quietly to reveal the murderer carrying the corpses of his parents. After silently propping them up on a chair, he wrote something on the walls and the blood of the dead bodies. He then hid under the child's bed. The child is scared beyond belief. He couldn't read the writing on the wall, and he knew the man is under the bed. Like any child, he pretended that he slept through the whole thing. He lay still like the bodies, quietly hearing the breaths from under his bed. An hour passed and his eyes have adjusted more and more to the darkness. He tries to make out the words, but is struggling. He gasps when he finally makes out the sentence. I know you're awake. He feels something shift under his bed, and that's how it ended. And then somebody said, of course you had to be awake to read it. The murderer could have been lying. Hilarious. No, but that right there is scary. Imagine like you see somebody kill your parents, and after they kill your parents, they wrote something in the blood of your parents on the wall, saying I know you're awake. Bro, that's okay sick and traumatizing for a kid to see. I don't know what you would do after that as a kid, bro. Like, what do you do as a kid? Like, how do you cope with that? You don't, right? It's pretty much like it's pretty hard to cope with that, right?